Hi guys, it's Alex here. Hope you are all well. Elon Musk was virtually invited at Qatar Economic Forum, where he responds to questions about Twitter deal, the state of the economy, Tesla job cuts, Tesla competition, and Tesla humanoid robot. Let's dive right in. Tesla stock is down 11%. Oh, wait, I think I have a problem with my browser. Let me refresh. Something is wrong here. Oh no, no. Tesla is up 11.3% today. No error here in the browser. Interesting. Elon says there are still some unresolved matters. I understand from this statement that the Twitter deal is almost done. The matters are if Twitter has less than 5% bots from the total Twitter users, then there is the debt portion of the round, if it will come together, and last, if Twitter shareholders will vote in favor. If these three are resolved, the deal is done. Let's hear Elon.
Minimization is, I think, important.
But have you? But
so,
have Twitter given you enough information?
well, there are still a few unresolved matters. You've probably read about the question as to whether the number of fake and spam users on the system is less than 5%, as Twitter claims, which I think is probably not most people's experience on when using Twitter. So we're still awaiting resolution on that matter, and that is a very significant matter. So we're awaiting resolution on that, and then of course there is the question of will the debt portion of the round come together, and then will the shareholders vote in favor? So I think those are the three things that stand in the that need to be resolved before the transaction can complete.
Elon is asked about a potential recession, and in my opinion today he is more optimistic than before, because he says it's not certain and that a recession may come in the future. In the future, not now. That is a general point of view rather than a real concern for now.
What about the general state of the economy? Does that weigh on you when you think about this? I mean, you just described it. You have a super bad feeling about the economy. Are you still in that position? I just said to you earlier, Joe Biden has just come out and said that a recession in America is not inevitable. How do you feel about the economy?
Well, I think a recession is inevitable at some point. As to whether there is a recession in the near term, I think that is more likely than not. It certainly isn't. It's not a certainty, but it appears more likely than not. And what do you think?
I'm, I'm with you. I agree with you. I think it's more likely.
Elon said, let the people say anything they want on Twitter, in the bounds of the law. New information on how he will improve Twitter. Everyone can see all posts on Twitter if they want to. The change is that you have a choice to filter what you want to see. You can filter tweets that you find offensive.
And I think there's this big difference between freedom of speech and freedom of reach, in that one can obviously, let's say in the United States, go in the middle of Times Square and pretty much yell anything you want, and you'll annoy the people around you, but you're kind of allowed to just sort of yell whatever you want in a crowded public place, more or less. Apart from this is a robbery, probably that would get you in trouble. Um, so, uh, but then that whatever you say, however controversial, does not need to then be broadcast to the whole country. So I think generally the approach of Twitter should be to let people say what they want to do within the bounds of the law, but then limit the who sees that based on any given Twitter user's preferences. So if your preferences are to see anything or read anything, then well, you'll get that. But if your preferences are, well, you prefer not to see, uh, you know, comments that you find offensive in one form or another, then you can have that as a setting and not see it. And uh, but I think one way or another, one needs to take the steps that uh, that entice most people to want to be on Twitter and enjoy it and find it informative and entertaining and funny, and just something and useful, as useful.
Now, let me give you some context. Yesterday I posted a video about Bloomberg Intelligence forecast that implied Volkswagen will overtake Tesla in 2024 by car sales volume. How Elon reacts to this question about competition is both fun to watch and informative. He doesn't even bother with the competition because he doesn't see a threat in sight. The only issue he sees are with scaling up production and raw materials and supply chain issues. Another issue they have is demands. So they don't think about competition. They think about optimizing the company even further.
Way. I'm quite intrigued by one thing, which is your competitors. Where do you see competition coming from? Do you see it coming from the old car makers coming back at you? I just saw a forecast that maybe in a couple of years' time, Volkswagen would be bigger than you in electric cars. Or do you see it coming from new places? Do you believe that or not?
I believe that forecast was from you.
Yes, it was, yeah. And do you agree with that?
I would not agree with that forecast. No.
And do you see people like Volkswagen and General Motors and people like that as the opponents, or do you see people like China, the new Chinese companies? Where do you see the most vibrant competition in electric cars?
I have to say that I am very impressed with the companies and the car companies in China, and just in general with companies in China. I think they're extremely competitive, hardworking, and smart. And I think there's going to be just a massive wave of Chinese products going out into the world. There already are, but for example, I think almost all the iPhones are made in China by contract manufacturers for Apple. But I think we'll see just a large wave of products being exported from China in many industries.
In electric cars, do they have an advantage at all? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think, well, I should say from a Tesla perspective, we don't really think about other competitors. Our constraints are much more in raw materials and being able to scale up production. So our constraints are not imposed upon us by competitors, but rather just imposed upon us by the realities of the supply chain and building up manufacturing capacity. So, I mean, as anyone knows who has tried to order a Tesla, the demand for our cars is extremely high, and the wait list is long. So, and this is not intentional. We are increasing production capacity as fast as humanly possible. So so like I said, we really don't think about competition at all. We just think about how do we address the limiting factors in the supply chain and in our own industrial capacity. Basically, we need to build the factories faster, and then we need to look ahead to whatever the choke points are in the whole lithium-ion battery supply chain, from mining and refining to cathode and anode production and cell formation.
Elon clarifies the job cuts. Tesla will cut only 3.5% jobs of the total headcount.
About two-thirds hourly and one-third salary. So I guess technically a 10% reduction in the salaried workforce is only roughly a 3.5% reduction in total headcount.
Elon says the humanoid robot team is on track to deliver a prototype at the end of September. And he also emphasizes that the purpose of AI Day is to show the people that Tesla is not just a car company, but from his point of view, a leading real-world AI company that exists.
As I noticed that you're going to unleash a humanoid robot to be unveiled on September the 30th. I wonder if there's anything more you could tell us about that.
Well, I hope that we will have an interesting prototype to show people. We have a very talented team at Tesla that I'm working with closely to have a prototype humanoid robot ready by the end of September, and I think we are tracking to that point. So that, and there'll be a few other exciting things that we talk about at the Tesla AI Day. But I really want to, we have these sort of AI Day events to just emphasize that Tesla is a lot more than a car company, and that we are, in my view, the leading real-world AI company that exists.
What do you think about all of this? I'd like to know your opinion. Please leave a comment below. If you like this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. See you next time.